Centers for Disease Control is keeping an eye on a measles outbreak. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut are among 21 states affected by this outbreak. The CDC says there are about 107 reported cases so far. The last outbreak was in 2015 when 188 people came down with the virus. Measles is spread airborne through coughing and sneezing. Symptoms include a high fever, cough, runny nose, and red eyes, followed by a rash.
On the Health Watch tonight, a troubling report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. At least 107 people from 21 states, including Pennsylvania and New Jersey, have reported contracting measles. CDC officials expect the number of cases to surpass last year. There were 118 cases in 2017. Measles is an airborne virus that spreads through coughing and sneezing. Severe cases could lead to hospitalization or even death.
Time to our top story. The number of measles cases in Rockland County growing, almost doubling overnight.
Yeah, some big concerns there. One of the places where free vaccines are being offered today.
All right, well, Rockland County health officials say they're now confirming 11 cases of measles in this area, and they actually have 3 more they're investigating. So at this point, they're officially calling this a measles outbreak. Now, they say, health officials say that the number of cases is a mixture of children and adults. 5 of the people were infected in Israel. The other 6 caught it here in Rockland County. Health officials are now urging the public to see if they are up to date on their vaccinations. If not, you should schedule an appointment and get vaccinated. Those who have already been administered what's called the MMR vaccine, or people who have had the measles, are immune to the virus, as well as those born before 1957. Symptoms you need to look for: rash, fever, runny nose, and watery eyes, and that can all show up up to 2 weeks after you've been exposed. Doctors say the measles virus is highly contagious. It's passed along by coming into contact with nasal or throat secretions.
Droplets can live for up to 2 hours after someone leaves a room and can stay present either on objects or in the air.
We already have 2 children who have been hospitalized with the measles, and one of them is in intensive care.
Rockland County health officials warn measles are more than an uncomfortable rash. In just 2 weeks, the number of confirmed cases has gone from 11 to 40. Nearly 1 dozen more suspected. Most of those affected are students.
It's pretty scary.
Starting on Monday, students in New Square who have not received a measles vaccine will be forced to stay home from school. A similar policy is in place all across the county, only at schools that have a low vaccination rate. Health officials say this impacts more than 1,000 students.
I know some parents believe in, our anti-vaccinations, but if it's for their health and security, it's got to be done. I think it should be a mandate.
According to the state health department, students in kindergarten through 12th grade must have at least 2 doses of the measles vaccine. But there are some exceptions.
I have met with the rabbis, and I've asked them directly if there's a religious reason why people should not be vaccinated. And the answer was no.
The new policy gives parents 2 options. Either they vaccinate their child or the student will have to stay home from school until the measles outbreak is over, which could be weeks or even months.
Parts of the tri-state area are on high alert this morning as a measles outbreak spreads in our area. At least 17 people have tested positive for the highly contagious airborne disease.
Officials say there have now been 11 confirmed cases in Rockland County and 6 others in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Officials say that the confirmed cases here in Williamsburg are isolated to the Orthodox Jewish community. And so later today, health officials will be holding a community meeting with rabbis and various elected officials to get the message out there that parents need to make sure that their their children are vaccinated. Now, the 6 children who contracted measles this month here in Williamsburg, officials say they are between the ages of 11 months to 4 years old, and all of them, again, are part of the Orthodox community. 2 were hospitalized with complications, including pneumonia as well as ear infections. Health officials tell us the first case of the illness was from a child who recently visited Israel. City officials say 5 of the Brooklyn children had not been vaccinated. The 6th had 1 dose but was not yet immune. Area doctors tell us that since the outbreak, they've been getting a lot of calls from concerned parents.
People are concerned, especially when there's an outbreak. Basically calling to check on their records to make sure that they're, compliant with all the vaccinations recommendations by the government.
There have also been 11 confirmed cases of measles in Rockland County. A number of others there suspected of having the illness as well. Health investigators say travelers who visited Israel brought measles to communities, including New Square in Rockland County. A mix of both adults and children got ill there from the illness. So.
Yeah, Jessica, the Costco behind me here in Nanuet, New York, is one of the locations this person visited as recently as last Sunday. Another is a gym in New Jersey about 15 minutes from here. And I can tell you from talking to people at both of these locations, many are concerned. Lifetime Fitness in Montvale, New Jersey alerted gym members Saturday with an email saying a man with measles worked out here Friday, October 5th between 8:30 in the morning and noon.
I just can't believe it. I mean, I wasn't even aware of it.
The New York State Department of Health says the person was returning to the U.S. from Israel. He visited 8 locations starting October 4th, including a kosher supermarket and a synagogue throughout Muncie, New City, and Nanuet, finally checking into the emergency room at Westchester Medical Center this past Thursday, October 11th.
I did receive the shots when I was younger. I really don't know what to do.
Health officials say if you had 2 doses of measles, mumbles, rubella vaccine, then you are considered immune to the disease. Dr. Rebecca Varghese of Lifeline Urgent Care recommends getting it if you haven't.
Even adults can be vaccinated. They have to take 2 doses of MMR vaccine, which is about 28 days apart. So that'll prevent them from having the disease.
Measles symptoms include fever, runny nose, red eyes that are sensitive to light, coughing, and a red rash.
It is scary, and I'm actually pretty careful about when I leave the gym. I wash my hands really well and carefully, and now even more so, I'm going to be super careful.
The measles virus spreading in Rockland County with 11 confirmed and 3 suspected cases.
Measles is a very serious disease, and we are looking to limit the spread.
The outbreak centered in Hasidic communities, including New Square, where a banner at the health center urges people to get vaccinated. Several children at yeshivas have contracted measles. Now, an order from the Rockland Health Commissioner: unvaccinated children must stay home until at least November 3rd. The stay-home order allowed under a seldom-used provision of state law. The local health commissioner had to get special permission from the State Department of Health to issue the order. The county will not say how many schools or how many children are affected.
I think that being that other children are at risk, every measure needs to be taken to keep our children safe.
The vast majority of people are immune from measles after receiving the so-called MMR vaccine. But for the unvaccinated, measles is highly contagious. Classic symptoms include red rash, fever, runny nose, red eyes sensitive to light, and coughing. But a quarter of victims end up in the hospital.
And there are patients also who have measles who have serious complications, especially for the younger children.
The commissioner says it is a serious outbreak requiring serious measures.
There is a massive measles outbreak happening in Ukraine. Investigators believe travelers brought it from that country to Israel and eventually here to New York. There's a small cluster of measles cases in Williamsburg, Brooklyn as well.